Hello everyone and welcome to the STPL. If this is your first time tuning in, this is a StarCraft Remastered Team League that's been running since March last year and we're still going.
Somehow, it surprises me every time. It's like, well, will this be the day that Kix finally kills esports? And surprisingly enough,
Not
you
yet.
haven't done it yet.
I keep coming close. It's definitely something that I've almost done many times, but it's been kind of cool. We've had a cool journey and we're going into a cool journey today as well. We've got a couple of series coming your way, so let's not waste any more time. Let's actually just jump straight in and introduce the first of our teams. Coming in here, there's going to be a lot of Goliaths coming in back here. He should be building Goliaths off of all of his factories. I mean, it's going to take an absolute age for these carriers to kill these tanks. And in the meantime, this tank in the front with 3 kills, 5 kills, GG! I know it looks like the units have been cleared in the top left. The base did go down. This base has gone down in the top right though. Medino mining out is going to have to tap out there. GG! He has the engagement he needs. Let's have a look as we go into here. The tank's getting dropped on at the back. A great engagement by DeWalt. The armory, the army of Vulture evaporating, and GG. This is still going to try and hold on. He's got another storm ready, but I mean, realistically, what is this storm going to do? It kills a lot of Hydralisks at least, but GG. Starfall to maybe get a drop done, but Oyaji is going in. This is going to be the moment that Scan either holds or Oyaji wins this game. GG.
It's showtime.
Okay, so that was the first of our teams here in today's matches. It's going to be iRk. Now, iRk are a primarily European team. They've had a pretty cool running so far. They made it to second place in round 1. Round 2 and 3, they didn't have the same sort of luck, but they're still a relatively strong team.
Yeah, and I think that when you look at the way that the different teams sort of evolve over the course of STPL, we do see some teams hover around the bottom of the middle, but iRk has kind of consistently been up there as a solid top 4 team, and I will say that they're definitely one of the top 4 teams that you never look at being like ultra dominant, but it is really fun to come see them dominate maybe against a stronger team when you don't expect it.
Yeah, so I mean, if we just have a quick look at their history, I mean, they've beaten some relatively good teams recently. They beat NetWars in week 1. NetWars are actually a 2 times finalist in round 2 and round 3. They beat them 4-0, so very impressive. They're also the only team to beat Soul Gaming and White Clan in the same round. That was round 1. They beat both of them to make it into the playoffs. So really impressive team there. And let's get in to introduce their opponents. Another strong European team.
Corner, or not the island, but like the base.
The main.
I guess it could be an island if he killed that. Yeah, but the other main.
And there we
but
go.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to do it. GG. Marine taps out last. Somehow does the impossible. Actually, nothing can come out of here. Science vessels can't really do anything, and damn, that is a really sick play. Coup is gonna take it.
And GG! Troll here, but he needs to repair as well. Both his units have gone down, and I get the feeling this may be what spurred the post. A really nice idea, but GG! Hearing Bay as well. Somebody stop this man! Cryon not able to save it, but another Irradiate going down on the final meters. All the meters have been cleaned up. Zero has nothing left. And GG save it. It looks like Heriodor's actually broken through. There's a drop in the main as well. Action all over the map right now. Hard to catch it all. Another base coming in from Heriodor as well. Aru cannot keep up. And GG.
It's showtime.
Okay, so there you have it. Their team, or their opponent, is going to be Red Clan. So Red are another fantastic team from Europe. They have a few players from Korea as well. They actually got second in round, they got into the playoffs in round 2. And they've been kind of up there as well in every single round. They've sort of been middling to the top, much like iRk have.
You're right, and that's why I think this could be a very even matchup. I definitely think that maybe iRk has shown higher highs, but it depends on which roster is playing for Red, because Red have another one of these kind of fluctuating rosters. They'll hire mercenaries to play on their team. They'll like sign people for one game and then they never play again. I'm like, well, I don't, like, I get that they have a lot of players that play on their team, but, like, you know, you got to get down to the core. You feel me?
Yeah, it definitely makes a lot of sense for them to do that. I mean, a lot of the teams in the STPL do pick up a lot of players like Reb. I noticed in the clan thread recently on TL, we're looking for people, we're looking for brand new people, as well as people for STPL,
like,
so...
Like, do you tell the people that sign up for your clan that they have to play next week? Like, that's when they're like, well, I guess nobody can play next week, so they're just like, well, now we're looking for new members. I'm like, I know where those new members are going to play.
Well, it should be cool to see them play anyway. Red have played against some really strong teams, got some really good wins, and as you said, it's going to come down to the rosters. We're going to get into that in just a couple of seconds here, but let's just have a look at their sort of matchup. They have actually played only once throughout the SCPL, with iRk taking that head-to-head over them. I believe that was actually in round 1, when iRk made it all the way to second, so nothing too much to say there. You can see that Red rely a lot more on Terrans than iRk do. iRk have only actually had 6 games played by Terrans throughout the entire STPL, and that's over 15 best of 5s, don't forget, so that's kind of crazy. And I guess we can get into today's matches as well. That's going to be the sort of next major barometer of what we're kind of going to be seeing. We're going to start off with a ZVP on La Mancha between Kenzie and Talent. Going to have a PVZ between DeWalt and Eriador on Neo Medusa. A ZVZ between Rissler and Rich, the one non-ZVP in this series. And we're going to have a ZVP to finish us off with Argneon off-racing against Horatos on New Bloody Ridge. And of course, we can get all the way to the ace match, which will be on Eye of the Storm. So, kind of cool to see those. Just to quickly show a map image of all of them, just gives you kind of like a run-through of each of them. You can see La Mancha on your screen at the moment. That's 4-player map. Neo Medusa going to be a 3-player map there. 4-player map in Holy World SE. That's kind of the most interesting map, I'd say, today in terms of layout and design. So looking forward to getting into the nitty-gritty there.
I would say it's only the most interesting if they infest the neutral command center. Otherwise, boring.
You know what? It's a ZVZ on that map, so
it's
I don't think we're going to see that.
It's gonna happen one of these times.
Yeah, I mean, if we get to Queens in a ZVZ, that would be just an amazing game. So, in a way, I'm hoping we do get there. We can introduce first of our 2 players here. Going to be for iRk. It's one of their new pickups. It's Kenzie. Now, Kenzie is actually a very well-known name in the foreign Brood War scene. Has done pretty well in a lot of tournaments. Kind of near at the top of the skill levels of all the sort of foreign players. We actually saw in the SCPL he took down Tech Castle and Radley to get here. He's actually on a 75% win ratio, but there's not actually that many games for him. So not really too much to say about Kenzie here. And Talent, a brand new player here for Red. He actually joined them for round 4. Did lose to Telecom last week in a PvP. But this is going to be a PvZ, so hopefully things look a bit better for him as he gets into map number 1, which is going to be on La Mancha. Okay, so here we are on La Mancha. Now, La Mancha is a 4-player map. It's got kind of that windmill center with the sort of spikes in the middle. This does make it a little bit more interesting to move around the map. Now, we do have both of our players spawning on the right side of the map here. So, natural and third base going to be quite relatively straightforward for both players. Obviously, the bottom right-hand player is going to have to expand a little bit closer to their opponent to expand, but they do have sort of this bridge as a choke point, and of course this sort of high ground here to defend, so shouldn't be anything too crazy on this one, Rapid.
Nope, nothing too crazy. I would just say that when it comes to walling, this is a three building wall, so it's not like it's super easy. And when it comes to getting a third base, well, they're just way out there. So very difficult to take thirds because there are 2 entrance points to the third, and they're pretty far away. So get ready.
Yep, let's get into game number 1. It's going to be Kenzie versus Talent here on La Mancha. Okay, starting us off here in the top right-hand position, we have the White Zerg fighting for iRk. It's Kenzie.
That's right, and on the other side, this is, well, I'm just going to call him Talent for this entire game because I think there used to be a different ID, but I have only ever seen this player play once, and it was a ladder game, so I don't know. This is the weird thing about Red as opposed to like our iRks. Like when iRk's players play, you're gonna have these rich histories. You're gonna have like their placement on the BSL ladder, which I think somebody said was like number 3. I'm just like, damn, you know, these guys are really good. Yep. And then Red, man, sometimes they'll field like top 5 like players in the world, and you're like, oh my god, they're bringing out the big guns. But then sometimes they'll play players I've never seen before. So I don't know.
From what I understand about Talon is, hopefully someone in chat can confirm this, but I'm fairly certain he's kind of like an old school guy who was around a long time ago, and he's come back again, but I can't be sure of that. I know in his game against Telecom he got a little bit unlucky. Well, I say unlucky, I think he died to DTs, because I don't know if you can remember that game, Rapid, but basically it was the game he just didn't get a robo despite scouting the Citadel and the Templar Archives, so I mean, his PvP decision-making let him down a little bit the first time we saw him, but hopefully his PvZ is going to fare a little bit better, but against someone like Kenzie, it's going to need to fare a lot better.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. And just to take a look at the opening build orders here, I think this is a 12 pool, if I'm not mistaken. Did I miss the... Oh, the Overlord's a little bit further south. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I was like, I don't see an Overlord there, Kix, but I was watching the Protoss base, and on the Protoss side, it's going to be a Forge expand, so shouldn't expect the kind of aggressive pressure that, you know, building a gateway first can do.
Yeah, now one thing we saw Kenzie do there is rather than kind of messing around with a single drone getting his hatchery blocked, he just sends 2 immediately, pushes the probe right back right away. Now Talon does pull that around, so he's going to be able to go back in for a scout. And keeping this alive is going to be his first major task in this game. Like, if you can't keep your probe alive, a lot of the time you just kind of die. It's kind of sad.
Dude, it's so... you know, you don't... I want to take like a whole show, and maybe not this one, but just to talk about the differences between watching and playing StarCraft, especially at a super high level. Like, you can play StarCraft, but if you... when you're playing against really good players, things like scouting, and specifically early game scouting, can just actually ruin your life. Because you're right, if you don't see that, you don't know what's coming. Because depending on who you ask, they'll underrepresent the race's capabilities. They'll say, well, there's not that many things that Zerg can do.
Okay. Okay.
Hello?
Yes, yeah. Sorry about that. I may have cut you out quickly. I just changed the server on Discord because your voice was a little bit crackly, but it seems better now.
Okay. So was yours. So I'm glad that fixed it.
Yeah. You were saying about how there's a big difference.
I was just saying it's really important to scout early, and sometimes you don't really realize that. But you know, there's a lot of different things that you're looking for.
Yeah. Now Probe has been sent a long way away. I mean, it does pull some lings away from his front, which is good. It does allow him to get up to Simon X score in relative pace. He obviously doesn't have a single Zealot out yet, so no defenses back at home. Now, look at what Kenzie's doing. He's actually leaving some Zerglings at the other end of the bridge here, because he knows that's exactly where the Probe wants to go, but Talon, fishing that out, does see the third base and pulls straight back.
It does keep the probe farther away from the main, which theoretically is where the important stuff is going down. And in this case, the important stuff is a Hydra Den.
Yeah, the Hydra Den really quick here for Kenzie. I mean, this is a relatively well-known build. There's many variations of it. 3-hatch Hydra. You get both the Hydra upgrades. You just kind of go for the big bust. Now, you can transition out this. It could be a fake. Certainly one of the more modern meta changes in CVP is going for that fake Hydra bust. So we'll have to see if Kenzie's going to stick to that.
Yeah, and one of the only ways that you can do the fake version is if you keep the Zealot, or I guess even the Scouting Probe, from getting into the main. Not only at this stage would it show you that Hydras are coming, but it also shows you the number that are coming. And especially if you keep that probe alive even longer, you're going to know how many there are. You already saw the Speedlings as they caught the Zealot coming across, so you should already say, oh, okay, well, you know, I don't have any map control. I don't know what's out there. It's a big, dark, scary wasteland. And this is about the timing where those Hydras are going to hit. So this is going to be the most important Corsair of Talon's life, to get across the map and see exactly how many Hydras are coming. And this one doesn't look fake, Kicks.
Yeah, I mean, Kenzie doesn't have that many drones. He doesn't even have 3 drones at his third yet. He's just building more and more Hydralisks. And the trouble is, for Talon, he's still only got 1 cannon at the moment. Now, the Corsair is out, but it's actually chasing one of the Overlords away from his main.
Yo, what?
And he's not going to get any scouting information.
I mean, if Zerg players can start punishing Protoss players for going for the easy Overlord kill, I mean, this is the most punishy of punishes. You just, you know, like, straight up roll over. At this point, if you don't have like 2-3 more cannons on the way, you are just not gonna have a good time, and the Corsair's gonna die. Oh my god, he lost a Corsair. He might actually lose a second Corsair. No, this is terrible talent. He's lost all of his scouting information. He's just now starting his 2nd and 3rd cannons.
Yeah, I mean, he's got these Zealots to try and move out to try and soak a little bit of damage from the Hydras, but this is so much DPS coming down on these Zealots. The first cannon, the only cannon, is gonna go down, and probes have had to be pulled. GG! Alan can't hold.
That was a 6-minute and 30-second game there, Kicks. That is the power of 3-hatch Hydra. I think that's basically the best case scenario for 3-hatch Hydras. You're going super early, and you don't get scouted, and your opponent doesn't build cannons. And I guess one of the things you mentioned was the lack of drones at the 3rd. And, you know, sometimes in the heat of the moment, as you're finishing up your build, you're just like, oh man, somehow the secret sauce didn't quite combine in the way that gets me the right number of drones. Still go for it, and it still works.
That is the really crazy. I mean, if you think back in the day, you had like Shine. Basically, I can't remember what tournament it was, but he literally 3-hatch Hydra Bisu out of one of the major tournaments. And there's so many different variations, there's so many different things you need to worry about when you're going for that kind of defensive fast expand build, that if you just don't see anything, you can't react to it. You can't build those cannons, because if you build the cannons blindly, you're just going to be incredibly far behind. So things are definitely not looking good there for Red, but that obviously is only the first game of the series. There's still time for them to come back, and it's going to be up to their next couple of players, or the next few players even, to bring them back in the series as we get back after this very short break while we load the map. See you guys very soon. Hello guys, and welcome back to the STPL. We're about to go into game number 2, which you would have seen from the top left there, that it's going to be DeWalt versus Eriador, two very big names in the foreign Brood War scene at the moment, and it should be a really cool game, Rapid.
Yeah, it's just like what you said there. If you're ever wondering during the in-between phases, like while we're taking a break, what's going on, what's coming up next, it's in the upper left. I see quite a few questions about that every single time. I'm
Yeah.
just like, it's right there on the screen. So just had to say it once, never again. But yeah, we are going to move into our next game in the series. And I don't know, for me, it's always a pleasure to watch some of our older, more veteran players play. And the second matchup here is just probably, and I think, did you highlight this as your key matchup, or are we done doing key matchups?
I would have done, but I actually forgot to do it. So
okay,
this is definitely
well,
the key matchup, I think.
Yeah, for the record, this is by far the key matchup. So sick. I would say my favorite, just maybe of all of today, well, maybe second favorite of today, but just very, very, very good players on both sides.
Yeah, now...
I keep saying that.
Let's just quickly introduce both of our players. One of them here, as we quickly take a look now. The first player fighting for iRk here is going to be DeWalt. Now, if you don't know who DeWalt is, just in case, because I know Jenna did raid with a load of people, DeWalt is basically one of the best Protosses outside of Korea, and technically at the moment he's inside of Korea training, so he's doing pretty well for himself in the STPL. He's actually got a 76% win rate over 25 games. So it's not like, oh, you got an 80% win rate and you've played 2 games. No. This guy has played 25 weeks of the STPL and he's winning 19 of them. It's just insane.
Yeah, what's also kind of cool is to see that 2 out of 3 of his losses are versus Tai2, the mastermind. So definitely do not contest Tai2 for sure, but other than that, you should see that DeWalt is absolutely killing it. He's out here training in Korea. Actually just saw him at ASL the other night. He is down here with another Russian player, Plumbum. You might know because he runs the website reps.ru, which is one of the biggest replay sites in the Russian community. So both of them are out here in Korea training right now. DeWalt streams basically 1 million hours a day. I was looking over to see if he was streaming, but I guess he stopped streaming. He streams like 5-6 hours a day. He plays more than that, and he's absolutely killing it. I think he's 2400 MMR right now on the Korean server, playing against the best players in the world out here, beating them routinely. Absolute monster.
Yeah, and his opponent here going to be the man with possibly the longest history outside of Korea in the Brood War scene. It's going to be Eriador. Now, Eriador goes under the name Liquid Drone. He is a man who has been known, well, who has been said to have actually taught Artosis how to play the game all the way back in something like 2002 or 2003. He's been playing since StarCraft initially came out, so not Brood War. He was playing vanilla as well. And I mean, he's not played as many games here for Red. He's not as active as maybe he once was, but he's still got a 66% win rate, and he's still been doing really, really well.
Yeah, if you ever want to trip back down memory lane to know what it's like to be Eriador, you go back, you open up your StarCraft client, and instead of clicking on the StarCraft Brood War logo, you click on the other one and play that version. Let me know how it feels to make Marines without medics. Like that's that kind of feel. So yeah, it's been around for a very long time, so it's just really awesome to see him still competing. I was looking to see if he had a better win record versus Tai2, but unfortunately he has not played him yet, so I can't keep that meme going. But he's absolutely one of the best players in STPL, and I'm looking forward to seeing how he does here today.
Yep, so
tonight.
Let's get into our second map here. It's going to be New Medusa, and let's have a look. Okay guys, thank you Faust for the sub, man, but we're going to be heading into Neo Medusa here. Now Neo Medusa, a relatively old map as well, from all the way back in 2008, the year I first started following the game. I believe it actually spawned for Pro League, but was used in the first ever OSL. I saw the Incorrect 2008 OSL. It's going to be the third time we've seen it in the STPL, but I've seen so many games on this before. I've seen so many games from Eriador as well. If we actually have a look at where both the players are going to be spawning, we're going to have our Zerg player over here on the right hand side, and we're going to have DeWalt in the top left. So Medusa, of course, is on the ladder now. It's a relatively easy map to actually take your natural expansion. The wall isn't too bad for Protoss to do. There is a big, wide open center though, which makes it a little bit harder for Protoss in the early game to push out and do any damage, just because it is very easy for those Lings to get the surround, and also there's a lot of surface area for those Hydras to come in at your natural here, which makes it a little bit more difficult. But the good thing Protoss have here is that backdoor mineral only third base you can take relatively early and relatively safely, only defended by these stacked temples, which is very difficult for Zerg to break down early on.
Yeah, the only problem is that, especially if you lose your first Corsair, things can really snowball, because then the Zerg has the opportunity to go mutas, which are really, really good at harassing the third and natural, respectively. So gotta watch out for that. But otherwise, yeah, no, you're totally right. This map has been around for a long time, and I always like to say when we play these weird old maps that you have here, Kix, that you know, this actually favors Eriador, because he just like reaches up on his bookshelf and he pulls out his build order notebook and he's like, oh yeah, this is what I'm supposed to do on this map. And other players don't have those, but you know, the ladder map pool actually does help make playing on some of those older maps a little bit more doable. So maybe that doesn't apply here.
Yep, so let's get into game number 2. It's DeWalt versus Eriador, and it's on Neo Medusa. Okay, starting us off here in this 3 o'clock position. Over here on the right hand side, we do have the Peach Zerg fighting for red. It's Eriador.
That's right, and his opponent on the opposite side of the map, Neo Medusa, in the Malachite, or I guess teal, it's DeWalt. And I just can't wait for this, Kix. I almost want to watch this replay twice on fast forward in half the amount of time. It's so good. And just to like kind of further hype this up, I think one of the things we highlighted in the previous game, which was the same matchup, is just all the little tiny times in which you can die. And I know this is a different map, but a lot of those still actually hold true. So we're gonna look for early game scouting. We're gonna look for like base blocking. We're gonna see like, you know, what strategies both players are going for, and it'll be exemplarative. How do you say it's an example? I guess maybe you just say it that way.
Yeah, I think that is the right way.
Of the best ways to play this matchup on the map. So get your build order notebooks out.
Yeah, so we've got an overpull here coming in for Eriador DeWalt, getting the first scout. There's going to be a benefit for him. Now, one thing I do want to point out as well, obviously this is quite an old map, but it is now on the season's ladder pool. And just to answer Weaponize Funk's question, all these games that were played for week 2 were played on Sunday. Basically all the games are played on Sunday because there's so many of them. I can't cast them all live, and also we don't want to cause any lag, so we cast them from replays in the following week. So wasn't played too long ago, and I believe neither of them streamed either, so no one knows the outcome of the game, which is good because it means we get to discover the outcome together.
That's right, and I like that they're bringing these back. I can just imagine the map pool decision making process is Matt Sherman gets out like a bunch of different names of maps from old Pro League games, and he like puts them in a circle and he like spins the bottle, and it's like, okay, well this week it's Neo Medusa, but actually he has impeccable map choice making, and not all of that is him though. It helps to see a lot of test maps be played in some of these online leagues like BSL or STPL. So it's nice to see kind of the general consensus coming together and giving us a very good ladder map pool. So
Yeah,
let's actually take a look at the way things are going on the map. Although, did you have something else to say?
yeah, just very quickly before I mention the lanes running across the map, you've also got the fact that the KSL map pool until now has kind of mirrored the ladder map pool with a few differences, like Fortress. So the ladder map pool also very important if they're going to use that for KSL. But looks like Eriador is actually going to try and break down these temples. Now, these are stacked, so even if these Zerglings do take out this temple, they're going to have to kill a few more before they can get into the base. And that's where time really does start to come into effect. But the trouble is the gateway isn't done. He actually went for 2 cannons into a nexus, so Eriador is eventually going to be able to break through these without any form of resistance.
Yeah, this is very, very surprising to see 2 cannons before or into Nexus. Like this is the ultra safest safe build, and I'm just like, okay, man, you are really not gonna die from the front, but not from the back. And you know, it's gonna take a really long time for these Lings to break through these temples because there are like I think 8 of them stacked, but it's just it is a big vulnerability if you invest too heavily in defense at your front.
Yeah, and he's going to try and get rid of these minerals as well. This does open a little bit more of a space to get through. It makes it less likely that he's going to be running one by one into that base. Now, that temple's going to go down as well. There's going to be no defense in the main. So the big problem is, if DeWalt can't get this cannon up here, he needs to get a cannon in his main mineral line, or he could actually just die to speedlings. So
look at where these speedlings can attack from. That does not look like they're hitting the temple kicks. Their little grabby feely hands cannot hit that far. But thankfully, there's like at least 25 more temples left open, so there's plenty of time for this cannon to get up, I think.
Yeah, but the thing is, Eriador doesn't really mind too much. Back at home, he's going for a 3rd base behind this. He's going into his Hydralisk in as well. So this is just part 1 of this saga here. The first cannon has finished, which does stop those Zerglings breaking down the final temple. But of course, the Hydralisk follow-up is going to be a little bit easier here.
Yeah, I was going to say, if I counted correctly, that is the last temple. So that was really good timing by DeWalt to hit that cannon right when he needed to, and not a second sooner.
Yeah, no.
Ooh, let's see if we can get a drone. 1 drone down. This glitching is really good.
Yeah, Eriador has got so much, he's got so much experience with all these kind of weird little movement tricks and everything. Like, if you think about it, he was playing back before Mutant Micro was really discovered. He was playing when some of the weirdest glitches that all got bugged out were still in, and it's just like Eriador's pure knowledge of this game far exceeds a lot of the people I've ever spoken to. So, getting to see him in action, doing his thing is always fun.
Yeah, very, very good at it. And good at kind of defending not only that initial Zealot, but really everything. He's had basically complete map control this entire time. And, you know, it might kind of look like DeWalt is playing just ultra safe and defensive, but you can do that on this map because there is that 3rd mineral only. And, you know, while this does mean that if the Zerg really wants to play greedily and you know, double expand or something, then, you know, maybe you're going to let them get away with that. But especially these speedlings, they only give soft map control. As soon as DeWalt wants to bust out of here with a bunch of speed lots, especially if they have +1, it's going to be rough. Ooh, Reaver's on the way.
Yeah, there's going to be Reavers on the way, and another interesting decision here from DeWalt that we don't often see in PvZ is he's going straight into Dragoon range. So there are weird builds in PvZ where you kind of go for a Dragoon Reaver all in. Now, I'm not sure if we'll see that here, but it's certainly something you could opt to do if you wanted to. Now, the important question is Eriador actually going to be ready for these Reavers? Because at the moment, he doesn't actually have that many attacking units. He doesn't have any defense really back at home at all. And he doesn't have any scouting information to say that Reaver's coming in, I don't believe.
Now, I was waiting to see if he was going to do this weird Scout Reaver build that he does. He's so good at it, but it's also not that great because Scouts actually suck. Well, they don't suck, they just cost too much. Anyway, the idea is that, you know, it's a build that does well if you're not going to get Hydra busted. Fortunately for DeWalt, it looks like at least that was kind of in the cards. And this was not the fake Hydra bust. This was, I want to kill you with Hydralisks. Unfortunately, the timing is too good, and or the timing on DeWalt's cannons is too good. And that in a Reaver means that, yeah, you're not going to break that.
Yeah, I mean, one thing is for Aerodor, he did get a decent number of drones, so it wasn't all in to go for all those Hydras or anything. You also need
Yeah.
those Hydras for defense eventually. The 4th hatchery coming up here for Aerodor at a 4th base, so he is going to go into a quick 3rd gas. That's not often something you can do in CVP, just because, especially on a map with a mineral only 3rd as well. But this map, it's not too bad. He's got a decent position to defend, and it is going to allow him to... Oh my god, could he actually intercept the shell? This could be huge. The Hydralisks are actually in position, and Burrow's on the way as well.
Goodness. Oh, no, 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 oh, you gotta drop it, drop it, drop it, drop it, drop it, like it's hot. Kills the shuttle. Should actually be able to save the Reaver if he gets another Scarab off. Yeah, there we go. Whoa, last hit. No. So he might actually be able to save this. Oh my god, this is gonna be Operation Save the Reaver. No! The Reaver dies.
Reaver goes down. That's a huge loss for DeWalt, as he's been spending a lot of time building that Reaver and building that shot as well, losing that Ariador with great foresight, knowing exactly where DeWalt was going to be flying in from, and getting a decent pick off there. Now this does give Ariador a pretty good position in this game. He's got Burrow as well, so any subsequent Reaver drops are not going to be able to really do anything without an Observer, which is a long way away. So DeWalt is going to be relying a lot on all of these Dragoons, and he is going to go for a big bust here, it looks like.
Yeah, this Burrow actually is so scary, especially if you don't know that it's there. It's super effective because you can just be running over burrowed lings your entire time, and you're just never gonna find. You're just gonna think your opponent's playing with map packs. But also, once you know, you're right. You can't go out with a shuttle without an observer, because otherwise Hydras just pop out and kill it again, and you're just gonna get totally destroyed. Man, 6 Dragoons at a time. These are without +1, but certainly once that upgrade does finish, it's gonna be even scarier. Mass Dragoons getting upgrades, looking for even more with 3 pylons on the way. And imagine how scary this would be if there was a Reaver.
Yeah, huge thank you to Faust for that as well, the 500-bit donation. Just to point out though, Ariador doesn't actually have that much defense. Now this Reaver is going to be doing a lot to the Hydra. It's a good movement here. Now he's not actually showing his burrow as of yet. He does need to be careful. There's a lot of Dragoons, and both of his Hydra armies are actually fighting individually. They're not fighting together. Does DeWalt actually... Oh my god, he kills the Reaver!
Yeah, he picked it up in the shuttle right as the Hydra's target fired the shuttle, but wow, I guess in the end, this is still a crazy number of Dragoons. Sure, the production should be able to pump out a ton of Hydras to maybe respond to this, but this is the lair. Like, this is the scary one. I don't know. This is going to be hard to defend with more and more Dragoons, 6 at a time, rallied across the map.
This is just absolutely insane by DeWalt. It's actually too much for Ariador to hold on. GG! And Ariador taps out.
Wow, what a game! I was kind of worried there for DeWalt when he lost that shuttle. I'm just like, well, damn, he can't do anything. But you know, I didn't want to say all in, but that was pretty like there wasn't a third base, man. We were just really pumping on 6 gates.
Yeah, those 2-gate Dragoon, or sorry, this 2-base Dragoon attacks are relatively all in because there's not really too much you can transition into. You don't have Storm. That's the biggest thing. Well, I mean, he obviously could go for Corsair Reaver, but he didn't have a Stargate. He didn't have a Templar Archive, so there's going to be no Storm. So the second that push dies, all of a sudden, you don't have any Zealots, you don't have speed, you don't actually have enough to contest with the continuing growth of the Zerg. I mean, you do have the Reaver tech, but that can only get you so far. I mean, the only option he had after that is to just kind of expand and then hope to slowly crawl forward and take a 4th base. But luckily for him, Ariador did actually manage to skimp on defense at his natural. He didn't, for some reason, attack with both of his Hydra armies at the same time, and that gave DeWalt the easy victory there.
Yeah, that's the thing about Reavers. It's kind of like siege tanks, is that they give you an air of inevitability. It's if you don't hit them really hard or commit to killing them, you're not gonna like chip away at a Reaver. It's like no. That's not how Reavers work. Especially because they have the same AOE, kind of like tanks. yeah, you really need to commit. So I want to say if both of those Hydra attacks hit at the same time, maybe you stop that, and because DeWalt's all in, you can hold and then you expand and be okay. But alas, such is not the case. Excellent control there by DeWalt at the end,
Yeah.
despite losing both of his Reavers. Really sick battle on both sides.
Yeah, we're going to get into our next game when we get back after this very short break while we just load up the replay. See you guys very soon. Okay guys, welcome back to the STPL. You're tuning in here for our first match of today. It's Red versus iRk. Now iRk are currently sat up 2-0 over Red, so this is going to be a very important match here for Red, because if they fail to win in this CBC, they will not be able to win the match.
That's right. It's comeback time. If they can do it here, obviously we get a chance to see the ace match. Otherwise, maybe they can get the moral victory in game 4. But like I said, this is sort of what you expect from Red. It's like you don't know what kind of lineup they're going to field. And I think it was clear from game number 1 that there was a little bit of a skill mismatch there. So coming into game 3, I don't know what to expect either. These are a little bit of the less popular players on each one of their respective teams. So I don't know. Actually, anything can happen here.
Yeah, so if we actually quickly look at both of these players, we'll see that one of them has a little bit more experience in the STPL than the other. That would be Whistler. Now, Whistler's actually been on iRk since round 1. Doesn't get as much play as maybe some of his fellow teammates, because, I mean, when you've got a roster that's as good as iRk does, it's really hard to break into that top 5. I mean, if you think about the players that iRk have, DeWalt, Marwin, there's so many that I also can't think of, even though we've seen a few of them today. But you know what? They've just got an insane roster. Whistler is certainly on the top end of that, but always just quite doesn't make the cutoff for the rosters each week, I don't think. So still a great player. 42% win rate for him. That's spread over the past like 8 months. So there's been a lot of room for improvement. I mean, he started the STPL all the way back in March, beating Avilov in a TBV. On Grand Line SE, so that's a long time ago now, but still Avilov a very, very strong player, and Whistler's CVC is pretty good outside of this. I think he plays a lot for iRk in the BWCL, where he sees a little bit more play, but 1 for 3 so far in the STPL at least. We'll have to see exactly how this is going to go. Now his opponent going to be over here for Red, one of their newer players, once again did get added to the roster, much like Talon did in round 4, so we're going to be discovering exactly how we're going to be doing. And huge thank you to both Taitu and Cedric. I will tone down the background. I didn't realize how obscenely staticky it was, so I'll have to sort that out. But a huge thank you for pointing that out as we get into our... Oh, you first.
What you do, Kicks, is you ban the haters, increase the static by 500%, and then kill esports. No, you put the static on during the games. That's what you... Man, I got so many good ideas. You can hire me after the stream, Kick.
Yeah, okay, so let's get into map 3. It's going to be Holy World SE. Let's have a quick look at the overview. Okay, I mean, in terms of the map, it's a ZVZ, so there's not really too much we can go into. The overview kind of goes into the main features of the map, at least. Hopefully, we somehow get a late game ZVZ on this map and they infest the command center in the middle. That is my dream. That would be an insane situation to see in a ZVZ. I don't think we're likely going to see it here. We've got our 2 players spawning in the top right, bottom left, so there's going to be no major sort of differences in terms of air distance. Both of them going to be able to go in quite easily from either side and harass the mineral lines. So, I mean, the major differences in this case is if we do get to the point where they both have expansions, player 2 has a much better situation of attacking this natural with his muters compared to player 1, who would have to go the whole way around the middle of the map. So not really too much to talk about because it is a ZVZ, but let's get in to game number 3. It's Rich versus Whistler. Okay, and starting us off here, over in the top right-hand position, we do have the red Zerg fighting for red. It's Rich.
And his opponent on the other side of the map in the blue. For iRk, it's Whistler.
Just gonna quickly do a little bit of micro there to sort of sort the speed of the replay out. It's all good now, guys. In case you guys don't know who either of us are, I am Kix. I'm from the UK, and Rapid lives in Korea. So there is a little bit of lag sometimes, but luckily enough, it's never too much to cause any problems. So it's good.
Yeah, no worries. But especially for replays, it's
Yeah.
like, well, there shouldn't be lag here. So. Yeah, all good. Let's keep an eye on the builds. We're coming up on 9, and we're waiting to see who are the big ballers who want to throw down a 9 pool with speed.
Whistler is.
Yeah, there it is.
That's the one for Rich as well.
Yep, just a second slower, but yeah, if you play on the Korean server, this is 100% of your ZVZs. You're gonna get 9 pool speed, and it's remarkably consistent. So what that means is you just practice overpool as much as you can.
Yeah.
But sometimes you still die to it because it's so good. And I don't think it's gonna decide this game by any means. So we should get a little bit later into a lair. But I do love to see the early aggression.
Yeah, now there is a big major difference here that could cause a few problems. Whistler is getting the first scout. Now, I can't explain just how insanely important this is. I believe Kenenzi, the Scottish Zerg living in Korea, calls it overloaded. Now, basically this just means if you have a look at the vision, Whistler has full vision over everything his opponent is doing. Now,
Yep.
that's insane in a ZVZ, whereas Rich, he doesn't actually know anything, so Rich could be getting 4-pulled at this point. I mean, obviously the Lings would get there a little bit quicker for that, but he doesn't know there's Lings on the way, he doesn't know if there's a 12 hatch, so he's going to be sending out his Lings, which were a little bit later, but he can't send them too far just because he doesn't know where his opponent's Lings are. He's actually going to be forced to send a single Ling out to scout, and that means he's got less back home to defend.
It should be noted that even though this early information is definitely an advantage, it's not like it gives you too much of an advantage, other than to say that if you're going for an aggressive build, you're also going to be going for earlier mutas, and so that means that your build is. It's not like you would change your build if you could, because your build was decided from the very, very, very beginning. So
yeah,
not too much flexibility there.
Now, how did Whistler do that? They had relatively even Ling numbers, and suddenly Whistler
literally
just breaks down.
Is he gonna kill a drone? Oh my gosh.
I mean, you can see immediately a sunken colony going down for Rich. This is one of the things that this early scout did actually afford Whistler. He knows there's no more Lings coming out. If they are, he knows they're defensive. So he knows he doesn't need a sunken, whereas Rich has no idea, and all of these little things do add up. One of the biggest examples of that is on a map like Python. where you have very short air distances, all of a sudden it becomes a game of drones. So it's like whoever pulls the trigger first on the gun to just build a ton of lings before you go kill the other guy. But there we go, looks like Rich is going to push out with his Zerglings. He will have speed relatively soon, I believe, unless both of them actually skipped it, which I believe they did, which is kind of crazy. Oh no, it looks like Whistler got speed, but Rich's Lings don't seem like they have speed to me, but maybe I'm being silly. No, they must do,
They're
right?
pretty fast, Kicks. Yeah, they're pretty fast.
I don't know, they just look so slow to me, so I think I'm losing my mind here, but Spire's coming up.
Speed up your eyes.
That would really, really help, actually. But there we go, looks like we are going to have an engagement in the middle. Rich getting a decent first part of the engagement, but Whistler, once again, just with a little bit better Zergling command, gets a victory there.
Okay, alright. This guy's too good. Wow. It's really rare I see players like just consistently win like these Zergling like aim duels, but oh no, if he kills his drone, it's actually really close here. Let me do a quick drone count here, Kicks. Let's see, there's 9 mining versus, should be similar, but it's not, right? It's 9 mining versus like 7? Yeah, there's 2 more drones for Rich.
Wow, 2 more drones for Rich. I guess he did get that sunken, so it affords him the ability to kind of get away with this, but given Whistler knew exactly...
Drone.
Oh,
Ooh,
wow, he gets one of the gas drones as well. That's a massive deal. If he doesn't put that drone back on gas, he could be in trouble. It looks like he already replaced it, so things looking good for him, but Whistler's Muta's out a little bit quicker. They're going to be heading onto the map, and of course, he does have that second hatchery building, which is something that Rich does not have. So that's going to be a little bit awkward as we get further into the game.
Yeah, what is this? I mean, I guess theoretically, if you think you're gonna have even mutas, then you can do this, but I never see this. The idea is that you just need infinity drones and gas and mining, and this is not a 9 pool speed is not an expo build. Like, I don't know, I've never seen this before. This is either Whistler big brain in it, or Rich is just gonna go kill him.
Yeah, but I mean, Rich doesn't have that many mutas himself, so Whistler, with a little bit of an advantage in the air count, does already have a single muta over his opponent. I guess he did have less drones. Too. Yeah, both of them expanding. I mean, we could still go to a long game. It doesn't seem like it's normal.
Don't get my hopes up, Kicks. I still think this is way less good than going in across the map and killing your opponent. But I mean, when you only have 1 hatch, you have limited larvae, so I don't know. But I would say that it does appear as if Whistler is way ahead at this point.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the supplies, he's somehow 8 supply ahead, like 7 supply now, but it's kind of crazy.
Oh, and he killed both the first 2 Scourge, and he's on top of me. Oh no! Oh no, Kicks!
That is a whitewash here. GG! Whistler getting a perfect engagement again.
Ooh.
Takes down Rich.
Wow. Man, that was a whole lot of stuff that ended very quickly. I think we had a 6.5 minute game. We just finished a 7-minute game. Like, these are... Whew, man, that was scary. Whistler's so good at that, just the individual, like,
just
unit
every
on unit control.
Every engagement he won. I don't know how. Like, ZVZ happened so quickly that it's really hard to see all the intricate details, but somehow, no matter if he had less units, if he had more units, he would always just get the best engagement possible. It's kind of insane.
Yeah, wow, what a way to go. And that's going to give iRk the 3-0 victory, I believe.
It is, yeah. Now there is a 4th game as well. Every single game counts towards the final rankings of the STPL. So we're going to be going into game 4 when we get back after this very short break. See you guys very soon. Okay guys, welcome back to the STPL. We're getting into game number 4 between iRk and Red. It's going to be on New Bloody Ridge, so let's actually hop in and introduce our players straight away. Obviously this is a game of pride here for Red, as they are going to be waiting to see if they can get a win here against iRk, or are iRk going to go 4-0 twice in a row? That'd be kind of sick if they did, but kind of a return to form for them. I mean, starting us off here for iRk, it's another great player, another really old school player as well. Finnish, streams a hell of a lot. I actually met him back in 2015 when I joined his clan, and then he left for a while and then left me as the clan leader for some reason. It's Argneon. Now, Argneon's only PVZ, oh, it's only ZVZ even. Okay, things are looking a bit weird in terms of like the races here, but it's all good. Basically, yeah, he beat Goody in his EVP, but he's actually going to be PVZing here. So no, he's actually ZVPing. My bad. His opponent going to be over here for Red is going to be their new player here. It is Oritas. Now, there was a really old school player that's actually in a few of the like old IC Cup highlight videos that people made back in like 2008, who was a German Terran player called Horror. Now, as far as I'm aware, this isn't the same person, but I guess if it isn't, they are a fan of him because they do have the same capitalization of the name, but they're just Protoss. So it's going to be cool to see exactly how this is going to play out as we get into our fourth map of today. It's New Bloody Ridge. According to this, Lamantia, let me quickly do this. Okay guys, so we're going to be heading on to New Bloody Ridge here. Now, New Bloody Ridge, kind of a newer map, I guess. It's from 2010, was actually used up till 2012, and it has been used more recently in some of the amateur tournaments in Korea. But we got the Protoss spawning in the top right position, Zerg spawning in the bottom left. The major map features are kind of in that video, but quite an easy to defend wall here at the front. I believe you only actually need 2 buildings for that, along with the pylon, so quite easy for Zerg to hold on, for Protoss to hold on even. There's a lot of space for cannons behind that. You've got the ridges, of course, in the middle of the map that adds a little bit more aggression options, and it's kind of harder to split this map, but it's a ZVP. We've had a lot of really quick games today, so hopefully this one will be a little bit longer, but if it's not, I'm certain it'll be a fun game nonetheless. We've actually already had 2 ZVPs already. White took down Dio, and Jerry took down Bonneth, so relatively good players from both sides taking games. So let's see exactly how we're going to play out as we get into map number 4 here. It's New Bloody Ridge. Okay, starting us off here in the top right-hand position, we do have the brown Protoss player fighting for Clan Red. It's Horotos.
And his opponent on the other side of the map in the yellow. This is Argneon.
Yeah, so Argneon is actually going to be playing his off race here. He did actually sub in for Jerry, who I believe this was this week. Jerry signed up to play, and unfortunately, oh no, that's next week. It's fine. Basically, Jerry had something come up at the last minute. So Argneon, I mean Argneon's Finnish. He's been around forever. He did actually play random for a while, so he is relatively good with all 3 races. I know when I first met him, he actually ZVT'd me a lot and beat me a lot. So he is relatively good with Protoss as his main race, but that does give him a little bit not so much an edge, but he will obviously have a little bit of experience dealing with the matchup from a Protoss perspective, so he should know what to do to annoy his opponent.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, did you say that Arcneon was off racing?
Yeah, so he's Protoss
yeah.
main race.
Okay, so I'm just like I'm thinking to myself, okay, so what do you do if you're off racing as a Zerg player, but you play Protoss? Like, I was thinking, like, you know, Protoss are not necessarily like, you know, the 9-pool race. So if you go back, you're trying to play Zerg, like, do you just go straight up for the 9-pool? But look at what he's doing. He's got this pool behind it, and he wants to take a hatchery, and he sends the 2 drones, but they're just a little bit late. And it's so. Wait, is that an off center?
No, it's not. The pylon was off center. This map looks really weird. It's definitely one of the weirdest naturals in sort of modern maps, I would say. But
Suck it, probe. Oh, I love it. That's actually one of my favorite like moments of a game that we've cast kicked. It's just like the probe's trying to be like a total jerk.
Yeah.
And it screws it up, and the Zerg's like, okay, I mean, cool, go for it. That's when you let the pylon finish, and then cannon rush the hatchery.
Oh, that would be so good. But I mean, unfortunately, it wouldn't really work out because Arcneon already has the spawning pool. So, I mean, one thing I'm going to take a wild guess here, but if I was, well, I'm not a Protoss main, but if from seeing so many PvZs over the past 10 years, even longer, it's been 12 years, not 12 years, 11 years since I started watching Brood War. Like, I would say the most annoying thing a Protoss can deal with is a 3-hatch Hydra build. So if I'm going to take a wild guess, I'm going to say Arcneon's going to go for 3-hatch Hydra here.
Yeah, 3-hatch Hydra is the thinking man's all-in, right? It's not like a 4-pool. It's not like a 9-pool speed all-in. It's not like a... It's none of these things. No. You get a tech building, okay? You get the Hydra Den. And there it is. Wow, right on time. Now, the other side of this is that you do have to hide it from your opponent, right? So if you let the Zealot in, or I guess in this case a probe, then, you know, that's on you.
Yeah, but that probe's not getting past these Zerglings. They're on hold position.
No way.
Then also, could this mean Horatoss will be thinking, huh, what are you going on behind
here?
Oh,
I thought I was going to squeeze by. You're correct, yes. You do still have to kind of think through this and be like, wait a second, what could possibly be there?
You know, I mean, I hope we're not going to see a thing we've seen a lot in the STPL in round 4 so far, of just Protoss only getting 1 cannon and then miraculously dying to Hydra Bus for some unexplained reason. I mean, I'm hoping we won't see that here, but Horatoss is going to be sending a probe up here checking for a 4th hatchery or something as well, checking for any hidden units. Not going to find anything, but he is going to send a Zealot in, which should help break down the front at least, to get in to see the Hydralisk in. But by the time he sees it, could it be a little bit too late? The rush distance on this map is incredibly small.
Well, one thing's for sure, you let the Zealot in, oh man.
Oh, the probe doesn't get in either. Arcneon actually left the Zerglings in the way. He's definitely practiced this. Like, he may have subbed for someone, but he's been ready for this, because he knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, and you know, as far as stress tests go, this isn't really one where the Zerg player has to worry about a whole lot before the actual attack. As long as you don't allow scouting, I think that's really the only thing you need to do is just don't allow scouting. Then you actually get to do kind of whatever you want up until this point, unless like you're getting 2-gated. Obviously, that's like, you know, gonna really ring some alarm bells. But the problem is that, okay, you've done it. You did the 3-hatch Hydra thing. But now, you got to go kill your opponent with it. And, you know, this is going to be the range version, not the one that we see where you just, like, you know, speed across the map and go, right?
Yeah, and the other thing is, we do actually see quite a good number of drones from Arcneon.
Wait, these are... Okay. Sorry, I didn't actually notice that they had already gotten speed. Usually you hit right as speed finish, but I'm bad on my timings there.
Yeah, I mean, he's waited a little bit. He did get a few extra drones, but we can see all of the cannons coming in here from Haratos. He's pulled all of his probes from his natural as well. He knows how dire this is. He has to hold on here, or he is going to take his team down 4-0. Yeah. But looks like the probes are pushing forward. They're trying to block the Hydras from getting up to this wall, but the Hydras already have their range. They're attacking over this wall. Two of the cannons have been cancelled, and I think that's it. GG!
What? Wow. Dude, when that hits with range, it's unreal. Also, just want to say, how many cannons, Kicks? How many cannons?
That was one cannon, Rapid. One cannon, like, again. Like, people are gonna learn soon. They're gonna learn that, you know what, sometimes you have to go for two cannons. And you wanna know the funny thing? The Protoss who won today, it was DeWalt, and he blind went two cannons. So, just saying cannons are pretty good.
That's all I'm trying to say. Every time a one cannon Protoss loses to a Hydra bust, an angel gets its wings or something. I don't know, man. It's a magical world we live in. And with that, I believe that is going to be iRk completing the 4-0 over Red.
Is so. I mean, if we I've actually just completely loaded the wrong screen, but if we have a look here, just to go through the results very quickly, we see that Kenzie took down Talon, DeWalt took down Ariador, Whistler took down Rich, and Haratos lost there to Arcneon. I read the wrong name, so that makes it sound worse, but Haratos did his best there. Unfortunately, didn't scout anything and got caught off guard by that 3-hatch Hydra. But iRk, I think they're back, Rapid. They've not had the best season since round 1, but this is a return to form for them, most certainly.
It most certainly is, Kicks. This is like, I don't know. This is if the form iRk were a British person, they would apologize for being this good. Like this is very impressive. I can't wait to see more from iRk this season. I think they're definitely going to kind of live up to their previous form and have a very high chance of making playoffs.
Yeah, now we're going to take a very quick break here as we get into series number 2. It's going to be fan favorites FBW versus DM. So see you guys when we get back after this break.